For a grieving parent, the world could become a very dark place. It's difficult just trying to face the day. The absence of a child leaves a pain like no other. The hurt, regret, and the emptiness we can feel can consume our every thought. While the stages of grief may be similar, the way we deal with the grief is certainly not. 10 years ago, I got that dreaded phone call, the one every parent prays will never come. My life was changed in an instant. My heart stopped, my mind was blank, and I was numb. I prayed that this was only a bad dream and that I would wake up any minute, but it was no dream. It was a living nightmare. Those first couple of days were the worst. What parent wants to sit with a funeral director making funeral arrangements for their child? I remember just sitting there speechless, confused, feeling like I was frozen in some alternate reality. "Did you bring in an outfit?" the funeral director asked. "What kind of casket are you thinking about?" He was only doing his job, but my mind didn't see it that way at the time. Casket, I thought? Who's thinking about a casket? Is this guy serious? This is about the time I start feeling as if I'm having an out-of-body experience. The day of the funeral, I couldn't sleep that night. What awaited me that following morning was every parent's worst nightmare. My wife and I were up before dawn to get ready for the funeral service. We didn't talk much. The silence seemed almost comforting in a strange way. What could we really say? There were no words. The last time I dressed this way, I was going to my daughter's wedding. I remember my excitement as I tucked my shirt in and put on my favorite tie. Same dress shirt, same tie. Today there's no smile, only tear-filled eyes and a large lump in my throat. After we got ready, we waited for our daughters to call so we could all meet at the funeral home at the same time. We needed each other's strength to walk through those doors. As I reluctantly made my way inside, I could feel my body become weak. My knees felt as if they were going to buckle at any time. I kept reminding myself that my family needed me and how I had to be strong for them. But I was anything but strong that day. I had attended a few funeral services in my day, but this was something totally different. I'll never forget walking into that parlor. There he was, my only son, laying in a silk-lined casket, lifeless, looking as if he was only napping. If only he was. I broke down and it felt as if the life was running out of my body. "Why?" I screamed. "Why my son?" My wife and daughters began to cry as we stood at his casket, holding each other tightly. There we were, a broken family, missing the link that kept us all together. There were tears, sadness, and anger, questions and regret. As people came and people left, I began to find some comfort in all the love and support we received. For just a few hours, we were not alone with our thoughts and our grief. For me, it was saying goodbye to my son that night that hurt me the worst. It felt like I was abandoning him. I knew when that casket closed, it would be the last time I would see his face again. Not sure what consumed me the most, my heartache or my anger. The ride home was in silence. We were numb and overcome by grief. The days, weeks, and months that followed began to write a whole new chapter in our lives. We all dealt with the loss of RJ in different ways. I'm not sure if they knew it or not, but we were all changing. That close little family that had shared movie nights and summer vacations was now drifting apart. I guess in hindsight it all made more sense to me today. But back then I was bitter about the whole change. Yet it seemed to me that after RJ we would have gotten closer. But that's not always the way it works. Grieving is a personal matter, and one best left to the individual grieving. We all had to work through our grief in our own way and in our own time. It's been 10 years now since our son passed. I still remember the pain and heartache as if it was yesterday. There are good days and bad, but you eventually learn how to live with the pain and keep your emotions in check. As for our family, I'm not so sure we will ever be quite the same again. The girls don't talk about it much these days, and I respect their wishes. I still catch my wife crying time to time, but again, I have learned to just let her grieve in peace. From the ashes of our pain and sorrow, hope has blossomed in new ways. We now have 5 grandchildren, 2 of them boys. Maybe it's just wishful thinking, but I would swear I can see a little bit of my son in each of them. Think about him often. I remember smile and laughter. Those memories serve me best. I feel his spirit, and I know that his love surrounds me every day. For me, I guess William Penn said it best. They that love beyond the world cannot be separated by it. Death cannot kill what never dies. Nor can spirits ever be divided that love and live in the same divine principle, the root and record of their friendship. If absence be not death, neither is theirs. Death is but a crossing the world as friends do the seas, and they live in one another still.